So even I was recovering from the party. I was late until 1 a.m. Chit-chatting with the friends here and also networking there. So I'm Mohan. I'm heading the SAP Integrated Toolchain at SAP. And this is kind of a initiative which was started from the board and under the ownership of VLAN, who's there here with us present. If you have any questions later, of course, is the go-to man, but still. So you'll also find Mark Tiers around the corner. So these are two guys are there, and also Surin, of course. Yeah. So this was a board-level initiative started along with Christian and Thomas, and you saw why it is important also in the keynote, right? I mean, Christian addressing and also talking about the integrated toolchain because that is the need of the hour, right? And now in the next 20 minutes or 25 minutes, let's talk about, I mean, why it is important, what we are doing to get the customers and the partners are also on board to solve that biggest challenge which is there as of SAP. I mean, because we have a large customer base, especially I'm talking about the private cloud, etc. So how to get that going, right? I mean, are we there on point? Are we still need to speed up or push the pedal? So that is what we're going to see. And we wrap it up that with a demo, like everything comes together. Yeah. So I need to also say, because there is something also on the future roadmaps which are there, which I present, that I would also be cautious about it and also tell you when it is also about the vision and the roadmap and when it is coming. I want you to pay attention for this. Let's see if it works. So what does that mean? Sorry? Fast delivery, okay. Good. So, any other guesses? Good? Good? Oh, nice guesses. Any other guesses? So we are awake from the party. So that is how SAP delivered the software years ago. So now we have to change. That is what we are doing. I mean, it's like we deliver the software and we say bye. It's not the case anymore in the cloud world, and that is what we are changing. And that is where I think the integrated toolchain, along with the center stage with the cloud ALM, gets together. Yeah. So moving forward, right? I mean, what customers expect and partners also, in some cases, because they also deliver a large chunk of the implementations, what do they aim to achieve out of the transformation, right? I mean, it's clear operational baseline, and the confident decision making with transparency in, and also, very importantly, that close alignment between the business and IT, which is very, very essential. That is what we miss today. And also what we talk with the C-suite or the executives there, right? I mean, each of these functions, even in the companies and at the customers, in the LOBs, are also functioning silos, right? I mean, that is where the projects are going south. This is what we need to get together, get the act together, because a successful implementation at the customer is also a success for SAP. And if the partner is also driving that, that is also a success for SAP. So that is what we try to do. It's not only when I talk about the integrated toolchain and the cloud ILM orchestrating it, right? I mean, it's not only about the features, functionality, etc., but also the roles and individuals who are part of it. That is the key thing. Because you, me, etc., who are handling this transformation, leaders, executives, etc., right? I mean, that success also depends on us, how we handle it and break that silos, right? So that is very important. And high level of adaptability, this is not an option. It should be a capability, being agile, yeah? So that backed up by studies, right? I mean, I would not go into each one of the details because there are sources where it is, and you know where the silos come. As I said, it's not only about the data silos, it's not only about the disconnected systems, it's also about the roles and responsibilities of the individuals who are performing those from an end-to-end perspective, right? One such study, which I would just mention, is that this is a study which is on the Q1 of 2025. That is very fresh. So it was a study done from 200 customers with the CIOs and other executives there. if we look at the challenges over the years, is it gonna get better or is it getting better? It doesn't look like, right? I mean, if you see that 60% of the companies still experience deviations in the budget, timeline, quality of their implementations, but the alarming figure is this: only 8% finish on schedule. Yeah, why is this? Because of the many challenges, right? So now, from the SAP strategy to the integrated toolchain to the cloud ALM, what connects is this SAP whole level strategy or the company-wide strategy, right? If you look at AI, data, and apps, we call it as a flywheel, basically. But how does it get together, right? I mean, with the apps having that integrated systems, this is what we did with the ERP and the business suite, right? And then that giving you the business context data, which nobody else can do it, yeah? So that is what the rich data which we get, and with the BDC, we orchestrate that with the SAP and the non-SAP or the third-party data to get that together, which is essential and the foundation for the AI, right? I mean, then it triggers back again, making the applications run better, faster, smoother, and breaking silos again, and then that is influencing the data again, and it's a cycle effect, right? That is what we envision, and this is what we now work towards too. So, yes. This picture is important because now we talk about going through the rise journeys, going through the grow journeys. What we do via this, right? We do the heavy lifting, basically. What is the customer managed? What is that SAP managed? Okay, I mean, once we do that, if you are on that journey of the cloud ERP, you see that whatever the infrastructure, technology, architecture, etc., build and operate, everything shifts to the SAP managed, but still there is very critical thing. That's why we are here today with the transformation and innovation and the testing training, the monitoring, the integration, extension, and development, right? Still, this is a larger chunk which remains at the customer managed one, right? I mean, if you see the iceberg effect, I mean, you can clearly notice what could be the challenges which we all face today, right? That is why we now go into the main topic today, which is the integrated toolchain, right? So, um, a bit of history, and again, working with Wieland and Suren, they know it better. Why we did that? Because we acquired these companies of Signavio, WalkMe, Linux, etc. Right? These are individual companies which are great also in their own perspective from the processes, enterprise architecture, and we do have acceptance that they are competitors, right, for each of the solutions. But what nobody tells is also that, I mean, if you have the licenses for these tools, right? I mean, for the competitor tools and etc. To get to that analytics, what even the tools say, it's like 10x the amount you spend because you type it manually, you fill in that data and get to that analytics. And if you do that as well, it's siloed, it's vertical, right? I mean, this is not connected in real time at the end of the day. So you spend the licenses, which is X amount, but you spend 10x to maintain it. At the end of the day, you're not getting that into real time, and it's manual, right? So what we do with the integrated toolchain is now we solve that, basically. We call it as the integrated toolchain, but the essence of things underneath is the data. Because for us, data entered once should flow across this journey from the architecture, from the processes, from the lifecycle management to the adoption with WalkMe. So that is the key. So data entered once flows through the end, and it's semantically correct, and everybody across these roles, which we talked about before, right, are not working in silos, they're working on one single thread. It also solves our internal challenges as well, because with the pre-sales and sales roles, which we have different things, the handover becomes much easier. So that is what we try to achieve via the integrated toolchain. And Cloud ALM being the center of it, because it orchestrates, let's come to that later in a few minutes. How does that orchestrate everything together? Yeah, because this is what is necessary now to solve those transformation challenges. So we do that in 3 phases, as you see here, but customers have their own phases because integrated toolchain is new, but the transformation of the customers, some of the customers, is not new. Let's look at also how they do it, right? I mean, now with the Discover and Onboard, you can use many of the tools which we have, predominantly Signavio, which gives some immense value with the reference content, with the value accelerators, etc., and with Linux supporting that with the capabilities, representing it, and also basically decommissioning your systems which are not needed. Because we have heard from many customers there are around hundreds or thousands of systems, the customers doesn't know why it exists, right? I mean, this is the blueprint which we need to basically get it in the first stage and retire it, right? So that is what we do in the Discover and Onboard. And modernize and run with the clean core, when we say or talk about clean core, for me, it's not about zero modifications, because that is simply not true. If you ask me as a consultant or an enterprise architect before, don't believe it, right? I mean, zero modifications, it's not pragmatic, right? So what we do in that is also that if you've seen the new, the clean core dimensions or the new clean core strategy, you would clearly get where we are moving from. We move from this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 to the energy diagram of the ABCD, right? I mean, I do not have that slide, but I can give it to you. But having said that, to move to the clean core, it is also important that you orchestrate this, right? I mean, that is what we do with the methodology dashboard, yeah, which is, we call it as a dashboard. It's an immense capability tool by itself that we also see a chunk of it in the demo, because it's a complicated demo. It's from an end-to-end perspective. But again, as I say, it's not a dashboard. It's kind of a tooling which gives you, guides you in the right direction to get there in a measurable, quantifiable way. So that is important. So in the continuously innovate, I mean, this is where all the investments of the AI, and we talk about the BDC, etc., right? It comes into picture, because that foundation, which we now lay out via that integrated tool chain, is pretty much important to realize that benefits of AI and the data. And we have the partners and the advisors are the architects here, right? I mean, with the Solex partners, which we have with Tricentis, with Cinity, and also we are working with Basis Technologies here. It's not a Solex partner, but we do have some of the features which I will also demo, which we are evaluating. That becomes predominantly important because they bring in that niche capabilities also to fulfill that whole cycle. Yeah. And with the architect and advisors, this is what I mentioned. It's not only helping external customers and partners, it's also helping us internally to bring those pre-sales, architect advisors, value advisors, and the RISE EAs onto that single thread. So that is what also is important internally for us, yeah? So let me, yeah. So now we talked about the integrated tool chain. Now, it's orchestrated via the methodology. We'll come to that. But what is also important to know is, without AI for the tool chain, it becomes immensely complicated, because it's, again, people say that I have to learn, I have to implement, etc., etc. So we have a program inside orchestrating everything from the methodology tool chain, and then infusing that AI to the tool chain with the gain. So that is what the internal name which we have. But that is where we infuse AI into that tooling in the segments of test management and execution. This is what we try to do, AI-driven test cases and automation, which we try to bring in. Is it there now? No, it is coming in the Q4. Again, as I mentioned, the roadmap, and we would be able to share the first vision of it. Yeah? Should I do this? Yeah. So with the data management, it's pretty important. We have, as I said, the Solex partner with Suniti, who's also giving us that data. But now we also work to drive that simulation of the consistency and having that continuous improvement of the model for that data to be also AI infused. This part is very important, and then also very close to us for the custom code management, because this is where we need to drive from that legacy point of view, retiring some of the unused code, and then moving from that non-compliant code to cloud-ready, and then upgrade stable extensions via the API. Yeah? So how we do it, I think this you would come in the Q4. We are building something cool, which we will be able to demonstrate that in the big stages. Yeah? And transition guidance, it's one platform which is also part of my demo today, which holds together the entire transformation journey from point A, point Z. And it gives you that value realization. So this is what it orchestrates as a guide, because you do not have to shift left, shift right from that platform, basically, and also it's built on Cloud ALM. Again, why I mentioned Cloud ALM, it is a center stage which orchestrates the whole transformation in the integrated tool chain. So this student talked about it, so I would not go into the details. So what is important if somebody has missed the keynote, right? It's that all of the tools with WalkMe, Signa, Vio, LeanIX, right? They identify the issues, they identify the problem, they give you a blueprint, etc. But you need also a platform to execute, right? I mean, that is what the Cloud ALM does. It helps you execute, realize. So it prepares your systems, your journey for the transformation, and also as the end results, you get there with the Cloud ALM. So all the tools, all the recommendations, and basically what is the as is blueprint would be then driven in that execution layer of the Cloud ALM. So that is very, very important. And as you see, it's in both in the context of private cloud and public cloud, which we move towards the business suite, which is very important. Yeah. And again, this is what we do from the scope, build, migrate, and run. Again, I will not go into the details because Suren has touched about it. Pretty cool. And also what we do with the content service and also the partners, right? I mean, because many of them are in the room with the partners, which we also drive along with the partners. This is for the methodology now. Okay, it stops here. So why methodology is important, right? I mean, we have heard or we know that the customers have their own methodology, the partners have their own methodology, but SAP knows it better from the best practices, from the peer data, from also how the journeys have been orchestrated. So it's imperative that if you're following the methodology, you're moving towards the clean core, or you do not have to do anything else from following it, right? Because we bring in those quality gates across these phases, which ensures that your system is getting cleaner and cleaner. Then, at one day, via that journey of that transformation and continuous innovation, you switch the button from private cloud to public cloud. For that, it is necessary the systems need to be on clean core, right? So it's taking slow. Let me do it here. Okay. This is how Hall in a nutshell comes together with the AI, with the tooling, across the phases which we saw from the methodology, right? That is very important, which I would not, again, go into the detail because I would cover as part of the demo. That is, we see what we believe, right? So that is important. And also you see across the phases how the AI would be infused, yeah? And this is the diagram which shows you basically the integrations. So Wieland always says, right? I mean, if you want to see the different tools or the perspective dimensions, you see the colors. But if you want to see the value, you see those integrations. That is the real value. So that is the key thing. I mean, across this tooling, and this would get bigger and tighter going forward because this is what we work on. We delivered a MVP, which is used by many customers. It's resonating well with the customers. What we have to do now is also listen to the customers, fill in those gaps. This is what we are trying to do now, and also infuse much more AI into that context where we know the data better, where we can automate several things. Yeah. So again, one important piece here as part of it, because we always think that Rise dashboard is something as a dashboard, but it's kind of an important arm for me because of what we deliver. Right now, we are working on that value measure also in the dashboard, and also generate recommendations to go to the next journey. So it's guiding you, like the transition guidance, on the value realization part from the Rise dashboard. And it comes in different views, yeah, because that is necessary. One is the executive view, the operations view, and the deep dive dashboards, right? I mean, that is where we have a whole data platform underneath it. We do that in the context of the customer, for the customer, and we can analyze and measure those artifacts and bring to that stage wherein, because ultimately, do we do it in only slides or theory? That is the point wherein Rise dashboard helps you realize that value, measure that value in your context, in your journey systematically on paper. So that is why it is very important, and I added that slide here now. And this is what the new features which we have delivered since probably 6 months now. And you see that AI infusion there across these tools which we discussed. And this is, again, a program. I mean, that's why you see it as there. It's a forward-looking one. But you see definitely, I mean, several with the Signavio AI-assisted process analyzer or the assisted modeling out of it, and then the agent hub with the LeanIX, which is pretty much important. It orchestrates all your system of agents there, and with for example, Joule for Rise with SAP methodology and the user monitoring now, which is also supported by the AI. I would not go into each one of the details. I would quickly shift after this slide to the demo. Because I want to mention one thing about the private cloud workspace, because this is your like touch point to have the systems, the patches, etc., to maintain. Instead of you going and looking for information, you can have that organized through the private cloud workspace there. I have an overview of the demo, which I would share with the slides later. Yeah. So yeah, I have two more quick slides, because now, as I said, how do we realize the value? We discover in the pre-sales phase what is the value the integrated toolchain brings in. We have a newly launched transformation preparation service where we activate the toolchain in the context of the customer, in the customer landscape, and we measure that transformation, again, as I said, the value via the Rise with SAP dashboard. And we have few customer references also with the cloud ALM and with the integrated tool chain, how we have it. Of course, I mean, there are a mix and match of the tools which we have here, because as I said, integrated tool chain is new. The customers, to start with the full tool chain, we have now working with few other customers, so that would also be now generated into the references. Yeah. So let me quickly dive into the demo in the next 6 minutes. Yeah. So what I'm presenting to you is a procurement case, and it is from a legacy and a mergers and acquisition. A company has its process, where and else it is built, and then how does it orchestrate and bring you to the business suite is what we see. So as I said, this is the transition guidance. If you okay, I think it's not displaying. Hello. I do not see it there. Let me try to plug in. No, still I don't see. It's in the from the last image. But nevertheless, now I knew this would happen. So I have a backup video which I can play for you, and then we take it from there. So this is a challenge, because now, let me try now. No, but I don't think it plays with the video, so I have to be careful. Let me check.
Regarding future product functionality,
I can do this
which is
better.
subject to change. In this video, you'll see how SAP's integrated toolchain brings together everything needed to confidently lead a transformation to SAP Business Suite. We'll follow a real-world procurement example, transforming a fragmented, complex process into a modular, agile, and intelligent business suite. We begin with transition guidance, powered by Joule, SAP's generative AI assistant. We start by asking, what's the best way to modernize a complex landscape? Joule responds, run the process agent to understand how your business processes perform today. Let's zoom into source to pay. The best run score? Just 31%. That's not a guess. It's insight pulled directly from live systems. Digging deeper, the data reveals the causes: low automation, long cycle times, and fragmented process variants, many running outside of SAP. This is inefficiency hiding in plain sight, now made fully visible. Next, we activate the Enterprise Architecture Agent to visualize the complete application landscape across SAP and non-SAP systems. With a clear view of architecture and process alignment, it's time to engage the transformation agent to determine the optimal transition path. Back in transition guidance, we can now prompt Joule, and it recommends system conversion paired with continuous innovation. This isn't just a lift and shift, it's an enterprise-wide reinvention. From there, we move into the modernize and run phase. Traditionally, aligning enterprise architecture took months and came with heavy costs. Now, using the EA agent in SAP LeanIX, we instantly generate a validated target architecture based on SAP's reference models. We shift from legacy systems to a modular clean core. From LeanIX, we trigger a ready-to-execute initiative in Cloud ALM, fully aligned to the RISE with SAP methodology from day one. But what about governance? Instead of weeks of steering committee meetings, we now use Clario from Basis Technologies. It automatically benchmarks technical options, verifies clean core compliance, and assesses risk right out of the box. For CIOs, IT professionals, and business decision makers, observability and impact measurement are essential. To demonstrate real business impact, we run a side-by-side comparison of the new process, comparing current and future state performance. This helps us to understand what has changed and clearly visualize the target improvement capabilities. During execution, SAP Cloud ALM governs scope, milestones, and dependencies. Tricentis test automation enables smarter testing, leveraging transformed data from Syniti, selecting optimal test paths, and executing cases with precision. And once the system goes live, the journey doesn't stop, it evolves. The RISE with SAP dashboard provides real-time monitoring of clean core dimensions. And with WalkMe's in-app guidance featuring smart tips, contextual walkthroughs, and task automation, users are supported from day one. Whether onboarding new users or introducing redesigned processes, WalkMe ensures every step is clear, intuitive, and aligned to business goals. With SAP's integrated toolchain, organizations can achieve up to 30% greater cost efficiency and 35% faster transformation timelines. This isn't just transformation, it's reinvention. Intelligent, integrated, and continuous.
So, I mean, the ones which worked yesterday, it didn't work today. So that's why transparency and preparation is very important. That I saw in the technology, but we also need in those transformation journeys. I mean, that's it. Thank you. And for any questions, you can reach me there. Thank you.